belligerent voice had everyone in the room turning to stare at the newcomer in shock. A stranger. In the Fox's henhouse. In Cougar Falls. What? Is this a private restaurant, or can anyone order the damned special? The stranger, a woman, glared down her nose at Burke, then turned a warm smile on Sarah. Is it okay if I sit anywhere? Sarah gaped dumbly until Burke nudged her. Oh, yeah, sure. Have a seat wherever. She beamed and fled behind the counter, her whispered exclamations audible to everyone but the stranger, who sat as far away from Burke as possible, in a booth with a view of the mountains as well as the rest of the diner. He sniffed the air, trying to catch her scent, and found to his surprise, nothing. Just like Charlotte Penny. His blood heated at the thought that he might finally have found a lead on the missing totem, and he studied the woman, absorbing what he could. She looked nothing like Charlotte, but that didn't rule her out as a relation. Charlotte had been a petite blonde, pretty in a soft, gentle way, and as wily as his grandfather. This woman looked like an Amazon in comparison. Tall, stacked, and ferocious as she glared his way before studying the menu. Her hair was a long blue black, shiny and straight but curled at the ends over her shoulders. Thick black lashes framed light green eyes looking out from creamy golden skin. Her nose was thin and turned up at the end, saved from being just short of cute by the sexy-as-hell mouth curled in contempt at the moment. He couldn't help lingering on her full breasts, their shape visible beneath the thin red t-shirt she wore. She obviously wasn't from the area, judging by her clothing, inappropriate for Montana's summer months. Even in July, the sun refused to warm up beyond 70 degrees. Today's 65 was no exception. Burke glanced around him to note everyone giving him the look that said, "Take care of her." And once again he questioned the notion of having a catamount in charge of the totem's protection. The Foxes were much better equipped to handle civilian authority and change. Both charming and sly, they'd been known to speak out of both sides of their mouths. Too bad his buddy Sheriff Ty Roderick presently had his hands full of the snotty Wolf clan. Now, if Burke could just keep Dean and Grady out of that mess waiting to blow up in their faces... Sarah reappeared, breaking his concentration, and slammed a plate filled with food in front of him. She quickened her step to the stranger and began chit-chatting, fishing for information. "Sorry it took me so long. That one there," Sarah paused, nodding toward Burke, "can be a bear before his eggs." In the table next to him, Joel Buchanan snorted under his breath. "Bear my ass. Cat has no sense of decorum." Burke shot him a dark look that Joel ignored before turning back to his wife. "I know all about his type," the stranger said, her lips fixing his attention. Damn, but her annoyance was starting to turn him on. Granted, she was hot, but normally, animosity didn't have him half-hard. The woman didn't seem as affected. He could sense she felt anything but arousal. Anger burned through her pores. Sure, he's okay, really." Sarah glanced back at him anxiously, and he rolled his eyes. She turned back to the woman. "How about I bring you the special, and you can see why our customers are just so irritated to have it?" The woman grinned and handed Sarah her menu. "Sure thing." "So what brings you to our little town? Cougar Falls is kind of off the map." An understatement. Cougar Falls was not only not on the map, but thanks to the totem on Charlotte's, what used to be Chastel, property, only shifters and humans with the ability to turn could find the place unless brought along by one of the townsfolk. "My aunt used to live here." A collective sigh whispered throughout the room. "Charlotte Penny? Maybe you knew her." Sarah clucked and patted the woman on the hand. To Burke's perverse satisfaction, the woman tensed and slid her hand under the table once Sarah let her go, as averse to pawing as he'd been. He grinned and tucked into his food, his ears perked. "Sure, everyone knows,